Hi everyone! In this video, we're going to make Taiwanese Castella cake. This cake is popular and there's a reason for it. It's soft, it's delicate, and it's moist as well. It's like a cousin of sponge cake that is fluffy and pillowy, especially when it's fresh out of the oven. This cake is easy to mess up if you haven't made one before. I actually failed so many times trying to make it. So I will share with you my Castella cake recipe, and I will also share some useful tips along the way so you don't mess it up like I did. We only need 7 ingredients for this. We need butter, milk, oil, cake flour, eggs, white sugar, and vanilla extract. First thing we're going to do is prepare the baking pan. It's very important to prepare it before cooking, and I will explain later why we do it. So use a brush to coat the inside of the pan with softened butter so the baking paper that we're going to put on top would stay in place. Now line the pan with baking paper. I just cut 2 pieces and place them on top of each other like this. Make sure you press it on the pan as well to make it stick. Then brush the baking paper with softened butter as well, just to make it easier to remove the cake later on. We're gonna cover the bottom of the pan with foil, and we do this to make sure that there will be even heat, and this also helps bake the cake more evenly. I used 2 pieces of foil that is big enough to cover the sides of the baking pan. And I cover one side and kind of fold it around so it stays in place. Then I do the same to the other side as well. And now the baking pan is ready. Next, let's separate the egg yolks and egg whites. I don't have a separator or anything fancy. I crack it in half and use the shells to separate them like this. I know this can be hard and there's a risk of puncturing the egg yolks while doing it. So if you have an egg separator, you can use it so it will be easier for you. So now we have our egg yolks and of course also our egg whites. Now let's actually start baking. In a small cooking pan, add the butter, also add the milk, and the oil. Turn the heat on to medium heat and leave the butter to melt. When the butter starts to melt, use a whisk to mix it just to make it faster for the remaining butter to melt. Now it's melted, so we can turn the heat off. Let's transfer it now on a bigger mixing bowl. Sift the cake flour into the mixture. Once that's all done, whisk it until it's well combined. If you don't have cake flour, don't worry, don't stress. There's an alternative to this using all-purpose flour and cornstarch. If you want to learn how to make it, I will leave the link to my video in the description box below and you can check it out. It's super easy. Now we're going to add the egg yolks to the mixture. Add one at a time and use a whisk to mix each egg yolk after adding each one. Once we've mixed all the egg yolks, our batter looks more yellow in color. Now it's time to add the vanilla extract. Mix it until it's well combined. We're going to set this aside for now while we beat the egg whites. Use another mixing bowl, put the egg whites, and using an electric mixer, beat the eggs. And when it starts to foam, you can add the sugar gradually. Beat the mixture until it forms soft peaks. Don't overbeat your egg whites, by the way. We want soft peak meringue instead of stiff peak, as it would cause your cake to crack more easily. But don't underbeat as well, because we want soft peak meringue that is not too soft. The consistency of the meringue should be like this. Now it's time to add 1/3 of the meringue to the egg yolk mixture and mix it gently using the whisk. Because it's a soft meringue, it is easy to deflate when mixing the batter. So just make sure to be extra careful when folding. Don't overmix, because if you do, it would lose its airiness and you would end up with a dense cake. And we don't want a dense cake, we want it to be soft and fluffy. Add the rest of the meringue, mix it gently, but also make sure that you mix the batter completely and we end up with a batter that is well combined. You can use a spatula to reach the bottom of the bowl, because I think the egg yolks tend to settle at the bottom and it's harder to mix with just the whisk. Once we have mixed it, pour the batter onto the pan straight away. That is why we prepared the baking pan first thing, because we don't want to leave it sitting there for a long time, because the air pockets would deflate the longer we wait. To get rid of large air pockets, you can use a stick and run it into the batter. Also, gently tap the pan on the table a few times to make sure that there's no large air pockets in the batter. Put the baking pan on a bigger pan and pour hot water around it. Use hot water, by the way, not boiling water. If you use boiling water, it would make the temperature too hot and it would cook the cake too fast. Bake it in a preheated oven at 150 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes. Make sure to put it just below the middle rack and not too close to the heat source, otherwise the cake would rise too fast and the top would burn and the cake would crack. So remember this, guys. Slice it and let it cool on the cooling rack before storing, or you can also serve it warm. And there you go, you made Castella cake. Hope you guys liked this video. If you want me to try anything else, comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram at PriyaMC for more updates. See you on the next one.